you know, it's just not the same thing. Oh! Hey, look at that. Hey guys, what's up? It's Dagon123, your favorite gaming otaku. Today I'm going to be going over the RetroLink Nintendo Entertainment System USB controller, which I got from my good friend Cody over the weekend as a Christmas gift. Now before I go into the review, there are a dozen, if not more, reviews on YouTube going over this controller right here. But the one thing I'd like to establish mine from the rest is to let you know about who actually makes these. Ever since most of Nintendo's patents for the NES ran out in 2003, tons of Famiclones and likewise accessories have popped up for the systems. So of course, anyone who was already making third-party controllers for Nintendo consoles and people who saw business opportunities jumped on. So after some thorough research, I found out that the entity Enix Incorporated owns not only RetroLink, but Retrogen, Komodo, Retrobit, and ElectroHub game accessories as well. And what does this matter, you ask? Well, from what I've seen, anything with these logos has been pretty decently made, if not, pretty damn good. Unlike the Tommy products, which now you're going to say, well, what's the difference? Aren't they all made by the same Chinese company or whatever, knockoff company? Not exactly. Tommy, even though many people have pretty much the same type of case to put these in for selling, Tommy is actually owned by the company Hyperkin. I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever owned anything that's been made by Hyperkin over the years, whether it's an N64 controller or the various other game accessories they made, let's just say there's a reason that the Tommy products are bad. That's because the whole bad thing kind of spawned from Hyperkin as well. They just don't make very good products. But enough of a history lesson. Let's get into the controller. So we're going to open it up here. I've already previously opened the package. Obviously a friend of mine got it for me over the weekend. His name was Cody. Love it, Cody. He got it from ThinkGeek.com. Great place, although I think a little bit overpriced for what it is, but we'll get into that in a second. There's the box. There's the controller. Now, the first thing that you're going to notice right away about this controller is it looks pretty much exactly like an NES controller. It has a little bit of a different tone to it. Obviously it says RetroLink here instead of Nintendo. Also on the back here, it says Made in China in really big letters, as you can tell. And this groove right here obviously would say Nintendo and patent made in Japan. This also is a little bit bigger than the normal one on the NES, so when you put your finger back here, your pointer finger, you could feel a little bit of a difference when you're playing, but otherwise, it feels really nice. It doesn't feel cheap, it's a little bit lighter than normal, but a lot of people have made the assumption that it's cheap, and therefore it's like the Tommy controllers. I can attest and say that these are fantastic controllers. Although I wouldn't buy them for $29, I would say $15. Maybe even 10, but pretty good product. There's a few things on here that, obviously like the power cord is a little bit off. Now when we look at them next to a legitimate NES controller, side by side, you'll notice a few differences. Obviously mine's been worn a little bit, it's been played a lot obviously. These buttons are actually rubber. Both buttons, both on the RetroLink and on the original, have rubber buttons. The Tommy versions don't. Like I stated earlier, RetroLink makes pretty high quality controllers. They're not known for being bad, and the tone of color is a little bit different. As far as buttons go, as far as D-pad movement, I would say really the only gripe I have with the buttons is they're a little stiff. But I mean, right now, if you were to open a non-sealed, original NES controller, it would feel the same way. The only real big difference, like I said, is that groove on the back is pretty much non-existent in the original, as opposed to over here. You can actually lay your finger there. It's not really, like I said, it's not a big deal. But the biggest thing that people always ask is, will it give me the original experience? And for me, I would have to say yes. When you're playing this, and you're playing along, you know, I totally forgot that I had bought an original controller, and it felt perfect. I've heard a few people have taken the originals, like say they have one that doesn't work or whatever, and they've gutted them, like gutted as in they took out the original motherboard of this one, used the case, and put it on the RetroLink one. So you're still playing with an original controller, except it's on USB. I haven't done that. I don't intend to do that. You know, I love my controllers, despite how old they are. But yeah, let's get down to showing you how they work in game. And there you have it, guys. As you can see, everything is all working. Everything feels great. You know, rubber buttons. You know, really a perfect feel. The you know, like I said, it feels exactly like an original controller. It looks great. It feels great. And honestly, if you were to ask me right now, Dagon, do you support this? Would you buy one? Totally. If you can find it for like $15 or under, absolutely grab it. Because even if you don't like this in the slightest bit, you can always remove this casing, put an original controller case on it, and be set to go and relive those nostalgic moments while having to shell out any extra money for a Nintendo Entertainment System. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope that this review was helpful. Peace.